This is your education journey. Please welcome today's contestants. Teaching Writing Lab at Royal Elementary is Dr. Leah Barley. Melissa Fulmore teaches computer technology at the Florence Career Center. Teaching special needs students at McLaurin Elementary is Tara Hill. Shamia Hunter-Yearwood teaches geography at Wilson High School. Our categories tonight are influences, motivation, accomplishments, and passions. Under the category influences, the answer is my mother.
Who is the person that influenced me to be a teacher? My mother is the person who influenced me. She listened to all of our day's adventures after school each day, asked us questions about our day and demanded an answer. She also helped with homework, but made us always try first to make sure that we were successful on our own first. This was quite frustrating at times. However, it taught me to have confidence in my own abilities.
The answer is life's most persistent question.
What is my educational philosophy? I believe that education is a value. I am passionate about building a community of learners. Every day my students and I have the advantage to use technology, something that they will be able to use the rest of their life. I am excited about being able to guide students toward happiness, confidence, and academic performance. My educational philosophy comes from a quote from Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., which states, "Life's most persistent and urgent question is, what are you doing for others?" Being an educator gives me an opportunity to do for others.
The answer is Kathy Bradbury, special education teacher.
Who is the teacher that influenced me to become a teacher? Kathy Bradberry was the teacher in the special ed class where I was an assistant. She taught me how to look beyond a student's disabilities to discover their abilities. Every day she demonstrated how every student can have a meaningful education when lessons and activities are adapted to fit their needs. Her enthusiasm for teaching was contagious.
The answer is my fourth grade teacher, Mrs. FITZGERALD.
Who is the teacher who influenced me to become a teacher? Miss FITZGERALD is my fourth grade teacher, and she always pushed me to give my best. She helped me get accepted into my first magnet program, and at that point, the bar was set high, and she encouraged me to always give my best and nothing less. She, to this day, still encourages me to always give my best. I want to be like her, always encouraging my students, building a positive relationship with my students and their parents. I want to be like her, keeping up with, loving, and encouraging my students.
Under the category motivation, the answer is student performance.
How do I stay motivated? My focus as a teacher is not on mandates, funds, programs, or anything of that sort. My focus is on my students and their individual achievements. I am motivated when my students show what they have learned. That's why I strive to have a rigorous curriculum to enhance my student achievement and their learning.
The answer is my grandparents.
Who are the people that motivate me the most? I have never met two people who are more hardworking and more giving than my grandparents. My grandmother had to work at a very early age, and she always pushes me that no matter what I do, I need to give my best. My grandfather is so humble and so giving to others. It started with him giving to his community all of his life. He's been a council member and now a mayor. I strive to have the values that they have.
The answer is expecting something new from my students each day.
What is how I stay motivated? My students never cease to amaze me. In my class, we rejoice in the small steps, whether it's taking one step, reaching for an object, or sitting up independently. My students work so hard to achieve what many of us take for granted. So every day, I'm always looking for new things to happen.
Under the category accomplishments, the answer is becoming a teacher.
What is my biggest accomplishment? I originally attended Clemson University with plans of going into a higher paying field. I knew that education was my passion, but I was scared to commit to it, afraid of what others would think. One day, I finally got the courage and I changed my major, and I have not looked back since. There is not a day that goes by that my decision is not reaffirmed.
The answer is my doctorate degree in education.
What is my biggest accomplishment? Earning a doctoral degree in education is my biggest accomplishment. I believe that as an educator, it's not just my job to teach children, but to model lifelong learning as an educator as well.
The answer is teaching, a second career choice.
What is my biggest accomplishment? As a teacher, I am able to encourage, guide, and inspire my students based on their individual learning style. My love for teaching and my students is greater because it goes beyond coming to work and getting paid. I have the privilege and an advantage of being an adjunct professor for Florence Darlington Technical College, where my students receive high school credit and college credit. My biggest accomplishment is deciding to become a teacher.
Under the category passions, the answer is finding new ways to motivate and reach my students.
What is what I am most passionate about in education? Motivating my students is the driving force behind their learning. My biggest challenge is finding ways to motivate students who are mentally disabled, visually impaired, nonverbal, and non-mobile. I believe that working as a team and sharing ideas with other special ed teachers, the students' therapists, and the students' families result in ways to reach the student and ensure the best education possible.
The answer is instilling everyday values and leaving a legacy.
What are you most passionate about in education? Educators make an impression upon their students each day. My passion is to leave behind a lifelong legacy of lifelong learners as well as independent thinkers.
That's all the time for today's round. With teachers as passionate and dedicated as these, we all win. Remember, it's never too late to start your education journey.